What is life? Baby, don't hurt me.
Dang, that was pretty good, actually. I was like,
we did it in sync.
We did it in sync. I did not think that was going to happen. I am not a great singer, so like I don't know how to do that.
You're a good singer. You're lying. There was a purpose for us doing that just now. Yes. I swear. But first and foremost, I'm Miranda.
I'm Shivani.
This is Far From Normal, episode 48.
48?
Yes.
Woo.
So, as we were planning out our podcast today, we decided we're going to talk about what is life. Therefore, we changed the words to what is love and made it what is life because we're creative like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. We couldn't really figure out what to talk about, so what is life? That seemed like the perfect question. This will probably be part 1. We don't know when part 2 is going to come out. So
because we want to educate you guys, and this is not this is based on what limited knowledge we have.
Yeah, so
we can also probably post things on Instagram.
Absolutely. Like we might do another episode where we actually like did some research and stuff, like compared like, religions and I don't know, something cool like that. So what is life? How do you approach this question? So
I had 2 ways of approaching it. I'm going to start with the first way I actually approached it when we started talking about it. Is philosophy. Yes. Right? There is like, what's the man?
The man.
I don't think it was Aristotle, but it might have been. The guy who basically said like, we're all dreaming. There's nothing, none of this is real.
I don't know who said that, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So there's this philosopher who was like philosophizing, and he was sitting by a fireplace, and he was like, what if I'm not really sitting by a fireplace? What if I'm in my bed? Mm-hmm. And how would you know? So, how would we know?
Right.
Is there a way of knowing?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, those type of questions are what like led me into my like mini existential crisis. And like I was freaking out and I was like, it was like, it's funny looking back on it. I was like, why was I worrying about that? But like it was a big deal when it was happening just because I was like, am I alive? Like, what does it mean to be human? Like, is this actually happening? Like it was scary. Like just like I am not here right now. Am I actually here? Like what is this body flesh suit, that thing, what is this? And it's just really interesting to think about.
It's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, like, pain is proof that we're alive.
Right.
Which is kind of sad. I don't know. I feel like memory is proof that we're alive to me. Because, like, when I'm in a dream, I can't remember shit. My memory's, like, skewed. And I can't remember, like, things that happened, like, 5 minutes ago. I don't know.
Right. But, like, I feel like that almost is contradicting in a way. Just because, like, if you can't remember what you ate for breakfast, does that really mean that, like,
I know what I ate for breakfast.
Okay, but like,
I ate double chocolate crave cereal, guys.
Okay, well, you have a really good memory, but like the fact that like we can't remember like things that happened like a couple days ago, like like sometimes we struggle to remember that sort of thing. Like, how can we prove that like we we're actually alive, and like how can we prove that like maybe there was a life before this, or like that we reincarnation and stuff like that, because like we just don't remember that. Like, how do we know any of that exists? Or how do we know anything exists for that matter? Like, you don't remember. So, like, I don't know. I get the pain thing because, like, I think, like, there's a whole, like, religion on that, basically, like, life is suffering. Like, Buddhism is, like, that's suffering is
and you can't,
life.
You feel mental pain, like, you think you're in pain while you're dreaming, but you don't actually feel physical things. But I guess, like, everything's mental. So like
I mean,
so like if I hit you on the leg, it went to your brain first before you felt it in your leg.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, it's really true.
Yeah.
It's so true. Yeah. I was gonna say something and I forgot, but yes.
Yes. That was one of the theories we talked about in my class. And then another theory was it's the devil controlling us. So like the reason life sucks is because the devil keeps like making things shitty. So we're not like really alive. It's just him like controlling our minds and making us think that things are happening. And then I had an argument with my roommate about this, and she thinks that theory doesn't make sense.
Right.
Which is legit.
Yeah.
So I told her that it's really the devil doesn't give a shit about us, and he's just doing it to fuck with God.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's rooted in like some religion, or do you think that's just like a general theory? Like, is it rooted in like Christianity or like something like that?
I don't even know if I explained the theory accurately because I read about it once.
Got you.
We talked about it in my philosophy class freshman year.
Yeah.
I just think that's a very interesting theory that the devil's like screwing with us. Like he's not letting us see the real reality. He's making up a reality, and we're all in hell right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is really interesting. I mean, it's just like, why would you want to make other people suffer? Like, what's the point of that? But then I guess you get into like, you know, religion and stuff like that. And like, you know, wanting to be a good person and like, you know, and heaven, getting into heaven and stuff like that. And oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that like life is like, you know, your perception of reality.
Yeah.
Like, so like how you perceive everything is your life. So it's just like it's weird that it's like that because like it changes.
What's the life is like a box of chocolates quote?
Shoot, I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, sorry.
It's me like the lemon one, like life is.
No, I was thinking the Forrest Gump one. Anyway, continue what you're saying. I'll Google it.
No, I was pretty much done, but.
Yeah, life is all perception.
Yeah, so like just, you know, you create your reality. People ought to say that a lot just because, you know, you create like how you process things basically is your life.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. That doesn't have anything to do with perception. Anyway.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I guess.
Just like, yeah.
Perception is interesting though.
It is.
Because like we all have different perceptions. Mm-hmm. Do our groupings of perceptions make up a reality? Or is one perception more accurate? Because I feel like a group of perceptions makes up a reality. My perception plus your perception of, I don't know, the curtain behind us makes it's closer to reality, like the real curtain, than just my perception.
Yeah. No, I definitely remember having this conversation with you because I did a AP Lit project on this, on like what it means to be human, and I think one of my like thesis or whatever was about it being like about our perception or something like that. I don't remember what I said to that, but like I guess now I don't think I necessarily agree with that.
What do you think?
Because like, you know, I think everyone has their individual perceptions of things, and like, you know, like not everyone experiences life in the same way.
Correct.
So like if a group of people doesn't see something and one person does, maybe they're experiencing something that these people don't necessarily get, but does that make the one person that sees it, does that make them like invalid? Does that make their experience not real?
I wasn't saying that. I was saying the more perceptions you have, the closer it is to fact.
What? but then I mean I see what you're saying, but like if that one person is experiencing, so
you're saying the one person could have more facts than a larger group?
I think that's very much possible. Like I think there's like things that we can't explain that do happen, and like science hasn't like caught up, like hasn't really found a way to explain these like, you know, supernatural things and stuff like that.
Okay.
So like I feel like there's like, you know, science is still evolving and we're learning things every single day, like, you know, aliens and stuff like that. We've been like finding out like new life forms on different planets and stuff like that. So like how do you know we haven't been communicating with aliens this entire time? Like, you know, I don't know.
What does that have to do with
what I'm saying? Okay, let me bring it up.
Okay.
So like just like connecting that to like the fact that like if one person like, you know, is experiencing something and this other group of people isn't experiencing something, that doesn't make the thing that they're experiencing not real. Like it doesn't.
Fair.
So,
okay, that's fair.
Sorry, that took so long to explain.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but what was your thought process with that?
Didn't I kind of already
just like
it?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
But it reminded me of like Sartre and the I've the other thing, where like it's a different concept, but like he talks about how like you are what you are perceived. So like someone isn't a human being unless like people witness that they're a human being.
Oh.
Or like,
yeah,
you are nice because you think other people think that you're nice.
Right. I don't know who said it. It was like, I am what you think I am, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's totally true. And it like kind of gets into like psychology and stuff like that. Like maybe like everything that you see, like from my perspective, maybe I see like, you know, like projecting and stuff like that. And like maybe I just see like the things that I'm insecure about or something like that. So it's just like maybe we're not actually seeing reality because it's like, you know, clouded by.
Is there a reality? Oh wait, that's a different question. Sorry guys. Is there reality? Like is there such thing as like fact, or is everything perception?
I think there is such thing as fact.
So what? who sees fact? Would it be like God? Is God the only one who knows what fact is?
How are you just hold on? How are you defining fact?
Okay, so like I perceive you in a certain way, you perceive yourself in a certain way. How do we know if any of that is inaccurate?
Honestly, I don't know. I think that kind of like goes into like, you know, what like, you know, these self-development gurus go into saying like it doesn't matter what other people think of you, it like matters what you think of yourself. And so like I think
but
what is fact is
isn't what you think of yourself shaped by what others think of you?
To a certain extent, probably.
And like also, if you think of yourself as like a kind person, but everyone else thinks you're a bitch, are you a kind person?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know, because I feel like the fact that like I don't know. Do you think fact can be like you can clump that in with like perceptions and stuff like that? Or are you thinking about like fact in terms of like science? Like, you know, science is that
I'm thinking
like
in terms
brain, of like we function because our heart pumps blood through our body.
So perception I'm thinking of is more of an opinion thing.
Yeah.
And fact is like I'm thinking more sciencey, but like obviously you can't determine like being nice as a fact.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know.
So like. So interesting. I don't know. Like.
Yeah.
I guess we could say like, if there's a God sees all the facts, and then the humans just try to figure it out.
Right. This is sort of unrelated, but kind of related. I asked you this a while ago.
Okay.
Do you think time is an illusion? Or a social construct?
I think it's a social construct, but I don't think it's an illusion. Like, time.
The same thing? I don't know.
No, because there have been some amount of time between when I started the sentence and finishing it.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be seconds. It doesn't have to be minutes. It could be wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. To all the Hui fans who listen to our show, but I just think in some way, shape, or form it exists.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I definitely think it's like some sort of social.
That was so hard to talk to you about over text. Oh my gosh, we were talking about it. It was over text, and I couldn't figure out how to say it without saying time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened the last time we talked about it, but like I know we disagreed on it.
Yeah.
Like I was like, no, it doesn't exist, and you're like,
what's your opinion?
I still think it doesn't exist. Like I think we made it. Like, you know, we need time to like, you know, help us.
So wait, when you started the sentence, like what is happening between when you started the sentence and when you ended the sentence? Is it on the same timeline?
Okay, see, I think I'm talking about time like from a higher perspective, as in we created like a timeline and stuff to like be able to
beings.
Yeah, human beings created like a timeline, and like they created this social construct, you know, like seconds and minutes and like all the measures and units of time. We created that. But
I agree that we created the units and the measurements.
Yeah.
But the concept of time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in that?
See, I don't know, because like I'm still like thinking about it, just because like I'm leaning more toward no, but I don't know how to prove it necessarily.
Okay.
Because I think I'm just thinking in terms of like, you know, quantum physics and stuff like that, which I don't know too much about, but I have been like, you know, reading things and like trying to like learn more about it, and I just I don't know how to explain it yet, but I understand where you're coming from.
I'm gonna present something to you and see what you think.
Yes.
I think that we have time, but God does not.
We have time, but God does not.
Yes. Do you want me to explain that?
Yes.
Okay. So I think there is some sort of timeline that human beings are on. Mm-hmm. Like Jesus was back here, we're over here.
Yeah.
Right? But God is like removed from that timeline. Mm-hmm. So he sees all time at once.
Oh yeah.
And then he can like narrow in, change something, and then narrow out, and then change something over there.
I actually really agree with that though. Did you bring that up the last time we talked about it? I don't know. But yeah, no, I think that's kind of close to what's going on in my head, but like at least what I think about it as of now, like we are like in a timeline right now, but instead of like, I guess my perception of God is different than yours, the perception of God. Mm-hmm. So like I think my take on it would be that like we have the power to like switch our timelines. Okay. So like depending on our choices.
Is that like? Okay,
Complain about time.
I meant explain.
Yeah, no, so like right now we might be on a timeline. This is gonna get really dark. Maybe we might be on a timeline right now that's heading toward World War III. But unless we change something and like we collectively like work, like, you know, decide that, hey, maybe we should like, you know, help the people in the poorer communities and like, you know, like change things and like add, you know.
So you're talking about like the theory of like if you make one choice, it starts a different timeline?
Yeah, kind of like the butterfly effect a little bit. So like again, this is like such a like interesting. There's a lot of different things that you could talk about within this like topic.
I always like the theory that like if you make one decision, there's a different timeline. But that theory is so geared with the concept of God to me, because like I feel like those would have been possible, but I feel like because God is separate, what happened and is happening will always have happened and will happen.
Yeah. Okay.
So like there isn't a separate I mean, there's a separate possible timeline, but it never happened.
So are you talking about like predestination sort of thing?
Almost. Okay.
Oh my
gosh. Okay. I could choose to make a certain decision, and I might, and I could choose to make another decision, and I might, and it's not predestined in our timeline. It's predestined in God's timeline.
So you think God's the one that's controlling everything? Do we have free will?
No, I don't think God's controlling everything. I think God just knows what will happen because he sees everything. He sees every time.
I think,
and like the whole concept of free will, like God could push us to make a better decision, right? Like he could be like, you know, like there's, if you read any part of the Bible, there's always disciples that aren't doing stuff that he wants, right? And he could push us to make that decision, and he tries to, like he tries to encourage us, he tries to help us along the way, but also he sees what's going to happen, I guess. I don't know. Unless there's, I guess another possibility is like he sees what could happen if he doesn't help, and that's why he helps too.
Got you.
But I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
I also think like, sorry, this is religion.
You're fine.
I also think like God gives strength instead of just like dropping a thing in your, you know, mailbox. Like he doesn't like necessarily change things that much. He just gives us the strength to get through things.
Right. Got you. Yeah.
Anyway, what were we gonna say?
No, like I think what I think about it is like slightly similar, like kind of similar, but like not that similar. Well, because like obviously my perception of like God is different, so like I guess my take on it would be slightly different. So like I mean, I think we have a little more power than we think we, well, at least from what you're saying. I think that like maybe like God does see, or like if there is a God, if you believe in God, universe, whatever you want to call it, like if there is a God, like I think that they have access to all that information, but and they could maybe like try to like send you like signs and signals into like going down the right path, but like at the end of the day it's your decision.
Yes.
And like but they don't know what decision, or like the universe doesn't really know what's your decision or what
the universe,
they just see all the options, so they don't know what option you're going to take. So that's
does that mean like the universe is kind of on the same timeline as this?
What do you mean?
If they don't see into the future, would that make them on kind of the same timeline as this, quote unquote?
I guess so. It depends on like what you, I guess, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. Like they know where we could end up, and they know how we, like our potential.
Right.
But like it's up to us to like figure out. At least that's what I think. It's up to us to like.
So they know all the different possibilities.
Yeah.
They don't know which one you're going to choose. That makes a lot of sense.
But like, yeah, you don't need to agree with me. But like, it's just
it
like
makes sense. It just makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like every time like I come across like the question, what is life? I like never fail to talk about religion. Like, I feel like that's like the
we
one.
Did, yeah.
It
makes a lot of sense though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because people find like their purpose in religion.
Right.
They find they try to like understand everything through the lens of religion because like if you believe in a God shaped the world. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least like for me personally, like the question what is life that like literally like led me to like, figuring, getting into like different religions and stuff like that because like that was the only thing that provided relief for me.
And you got into different religions.
Oh my gosh, I had a whole phase. I was bothering her and another friend, sending them texts.
Well, I didn't enjoy it back then, but I enjoyed it later.
I was low key so annoying. Like I would be like, "What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Like, do you believe in this? Do you believe in that? Do you like what about on angels and like alternate universes and parallel stuff and like I don't know, like I was really really into it and like wow, it took up all my time. It was always on my mind, but
so interesting.
I'm okay now. I'm okay.
It was cool then too. You're okay then.
Yeah. Purpose. What do you think about that?
Okay. I really have two different opinions.
Okay.
Ready? Purpose is what you make it.
Okay. Yeah.
And then opinion 2 is purpose is to affect others in some way.
So you think is that second part like
no, they're just two different things and I can't decide which one I think.
Oh. Okay, wait, so your first one was
whatever you make it.
Whatever you make it, and the other one is like giving basically
affecting
others.
Like butterfly effect kind of things. Like I have some sort of effect on you and therefore I had a purpose in existing.
Got you. Oh, okay. Do you think people like? Do you think there's like a general purpose for people, or do you think everyone?
Oh, has, not objective purpose.
Mm-hmm. I think it's different for people.
I think I can't say if there's an objective purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I'm not an all-powerful, all-knowing being. I mean, like I could make assumptions. I have no way of knowing. The most I could say is like if God exists. The objective purpose is whatever God said as the objective purpose.
Right. Gotcha. Cool.
I have subjective purposes because I don't know things.
Yeah. I've read a lot of random books and stuff and about why we're here and like all these like different like spiritual religious takes and stuff like that. It's been really interesting. Have you figured out what your purpose is or like do you think you know or like are still trying to figure it out or and that's a big question. That's something I don't even know.
No.
Love it.
Yep.
Love that question.
I thought about it and I said no.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, same.
I think also like there's also the concept that like purpose changes throughout life, which I think ties into the purpose is what you make it.
Right.
Because like my purpose in like well, I don't know. I just feel like purpose could change throughout life. Like if you have like the goal of like, I don't know, winning a super big tournament and then you win it, you got to find some purpose after that.
Right.
Life would be meaningless if we didn't have some sort of purpose, as we know from the what's the thing where the guy rolls the ball up the hill? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where like he gets that rock and life is meaningless because he keeps rolling it up, but then he like finds a meaning in rolling it up, even though there isn't a meaning, and therefore he has purpose because he thinks he has purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think, kind of going off of that, like, do you think it's okay for people to just not have a purpose or, like, not know what they want to do with their life or basically, like, just, go around living?
Okay, so there's a difference between a life purpose and a daily purpose.
I guess, like,
because I think if you think there is no purpose anywhere, no daily purpose, no life purpose, no 5 minutes from now purpose, I think you'd be depressed.
I mean, that's kind of...
I think that would just be depression.
Yeah.
And I think if you have no life purpose, part of your purpose is trying to find a life purpose. But I think also in that instance, you probably have a week purpose or a day purpose or a 5 minutes from now purpose. Like, you might not know what you want to do with your future, but you got to finish this podcast. That's your purpose for the next however long we do this podcast.
No, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, like usually like I don't know, I like attended like I think a mental health like class or watched a video or something like that, and they always like talk about like when you approach like someone with like who's dealing with like depression or something like that, like usually you can like help them by like going like minute by minute, like second by second, and like not necessarily like
don't think about the long. Yeah,
you just take it like day by day.
Yep.
Break it down if you need to more, and it's just like that's a really good point. Yeah, purpose has always been something that's like I've always like struggled to do because I've always like I don't know, I'm the type of person where if like if I don't like have a plan for the future, I'm like constantly anxious about it. And like I get really stressed out about it. Like I think it's just partly because my family like is always like, make sure you like have a stable job and stuff like that. And like sometimes when you like don't really know what you're doing, which I think that's a lot of people deal with that. Like it can be really scary. Really, really scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a better idea what I'm doing now, and I think it's totally okay to not know what you're doing.
My purpose that gives me existential crises is my emotional purpose. I don't really care that much about my career purpose, but like I always stress out about like if I'm supposed to be like. I guess this is less of a stress lately, but I've always stressed out about like, am I being a good person? Am I being too anxious? Am I giving my friends enough time? I give my friends way too much time. Like, I mean, now it's not as bad because I've realized that like who I am is defined by myself and not others. But
yeah, true, yeah. And I guess that's like we kind of go to show that like everyone has a different purpose. Like maybe mine is more like material, I guess, I don't know, and like hers is more emotional.
And it doesn't matter though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's different for everyone.
Yeah, we read a story in philosophy that someone's purpose was literally to do crosswords, and you know what? If you want to do a crossword every day and your goal in life is to finish like 1 million crosswords, fucking go.
Yes, do it.
Go off.
Crossword is everything.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why like someone's purpose could be love, and another person, their purpose could be like owning a business. Doesn't matter as long as you're like. Although the question is then. Is there a definition of a good person?
We all have different.
Yeah, we have.
We haven't talked about this, but I don't know. The answer to your question.
I don't know. It's like yeah. Better question. Ready? If life only has meaning because we have some sort of purpose. Do we have a purpose in heaven? Or is heaven life meaningless?
I don't know. We don't know what heaven's like.
Thank you, Shivani. That's so boring. I mean, you're right. That's so boring.
I mean, if I could talk to someone in heaven, sure, I could give you an answer, but I don't know.
Like from like what you have visualized as heaven in the past. Like, I visualize it as just, like, we're all sitting around eating raspberries, chilling in a field. It's a vibe. But, like, then we are no purpose.
Right.
So.
I think there's life beyond this life. So my answer might be
reincarnation?
Different. Like, not even reincarnation. Maybe there's, like, different, like, you, like, ascend to, like, a different, like, level of life. Like, maybe there's, like, different types of life.
Kind of like the 7 layers of hell.
Yeah, and if you believe in, like, if you believe in, yeah, right. And, that's like, cool. And if you believe in, like, angels and spirit guides and, like, people looking over us, maybe that's a job.
Well, maybe that's a job. To the top level.
They say, I don't know, I was reading a book once, and they were talking about, like, it's basically all about getting back to source and like reuniting with God and stuff like that. So like maybe like there's like levels to get there.
What happens when you reunite with God then? Do you have a purpose after that?
I don't know, man. Like I'm just telling you what I read. Like
fair enough. Fair enough.
I know a bunch of theories, but like I don't know if any of it's right or like or none of it's right. Like who knows? But it's fun exploring.
Yeah.
And maybe that's my purpose, just to explore. Yeah. Explore with the meaning of life.
I do like that we both think that life has meaning. That's nice.
Yeah,
because there's also like nihilism where they're just like, life is meaningless and we're all suffering.
Right.
And there's also like the other people who are like, life is meaningless, but we can give it pretend it has meaning and therefore we're not suffering. And then there's people who are like, life is meaningless, but fuck that, I'm gonna have fun.
You're right though. You're right. You're right. And I'm not sure if there's any like I don't know, way of defining it that's better than the other. It might just be.
I like the find some sort of purpose because like I don't know. Even if it is meaningless, I'd rather feel like there's some sort of meaning. Like, I was talking about, like, if you think everything is meaningless, you're kind of gonna be depressed.
Yeah.
So, like, even if God doesn't exist, I feel like you should believe in something. Not necessarily God, but something. Because believing in something just, like, makes it easier. Makes life easier.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I mean, as of recently, I think what I've just come to terms with is, like, it doesn't need to be that complicated if I, like, don't want to make it that complicated. It can be, like, simple. And if you, like, take it day by day and, know that everything's going to be okay and, like, trust or whatever, or, like, find something that, like, gives you comfort, then, like, you don't need to make it that complicated. But obviously it varies from person to person. But, like, I don't know, it gives me relief knowing that, like, I have some control over my life, and also that, like, I don't have control over everything.
Yes.
So, because if everything was my fault, then, like,
right? There was a philosopher who said that. It was literally like, there's some sort of philosopher who was basically like, you have to act in the way that you would want everyone else to act. So anything that happens in life is partially your fault because you're not acting good enough. I was like, I don't like this. I mean, maybe that's legit because you want to act, how treat others how you want to be treated and whatnot. But, like, also, different people want to be treated different ways.
Right.
So, like, yeah.
Well, with that said, we have reached the end of our episode. I hope you enjoyed it. That was
a lot of philosophy, guys. We just thought.
That was basically a stream of consciousness.
Yes.
That was it.
It was kind of fun, though.
It was, yeah. Usually they're the most entertaining, I think, because you never know what's going to come out of our mouths.
Yeah.
Hopefully nothing was, like, offensive or anything, but
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, but this was the end. Thank you for watching. Do you have any ending comments?
I haven't in a very long time. You can just stop asking me.
Alrighty. Well then, so if you guys want to connect with us, you can email us at farfromnormalpodcast@gmail.com. We have an Instagram at farfromnormalpodcast, and there's a Google surveys in the Instagram. Miranda has something to say.
We made a Patreon account. You should become a member. You literally don't have to donate, like, anything. And we're going to have, like, stickers and bags, and you can guest on an episode, and you can ask us questions, and I'm going to send out some messages, and there might be special Patreon episodes if we get actual people to join. Yeah, that would be cool, because funding would be nice for our show. Continue, as you were.
I echo what Miranda said. It's going to be great, and you guys should definitely look into it, and we're excited to, like, give you guys more things and interact with you guys more. I think it'd be really fun for all of us. And yeah, so we have our Google surveys and the Instagram, and I believe that is it.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So we'll see you.
We love you guys.
We love you, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.